downstairs. I want her to stamp it.
Oh,
Hey,
okay, well, you paid it?
yes, my sister got
All right.
a check off.
Okay, she'll do that, and we all know about it too. You just got it in the mail?
Just today.
I don't know, the mail is terrible, awful.
Okay. Well, that ain't nothing.
Mail in general.
My sister-in-law
okay.
Linda lives up
I
on
didn't know what was
Bottle
up.
Road.
Other side too.
Mailed me a birthday card one year. I didn't get it until 3 days after my birthday.
All
It
right,
went to Syracuse.
okay,
Then you
you ready?
then back.
Are you ready to begin?
Yeah, so the mail traffic from here goes straight.
All right, welcome to the Village of Richfield Springs, North Southeast meeting. Please stand, and after the pledge, I'd ask you to continue standing in honor of John O'Connor, who was a longtime trustee here. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I could do tonight, but I think it's all short things. I'll give you a minute. You okay? Okay. First thing, let's start off, if I may, with the first motion of the evening, and that would be to have us begin having our public meeting in the public. We'll need to do some Zoom, especially for the public hearings, right? Only for the public hearing, but if we could go back to meeting in person in public, I'll make that first motion if anybody wants to send it, or if there are any objections, let's hear them now.
I'm sure you talked to the meeting.
Open, yes, inviting the public, under the guidance of the state law.
I said,
All right. And, vote.
yes.
Yes.
Yes, and yes, thank you. All right. The housekeeping. We have a DOT shared service agreement finally filled out. If anyone wants to take a peek at it, the 4-year term, which I guess we're allowed to do, especially with the state, going from this year to 2025. Where's the laptop? Okay, so you can hear me? That's good. Can everybody hear me?
It's a little muffled.
Yeah.
Just for you.
I almost forgot about that. Let me see if I can pull you a little closer. I'm right up between us here. What?
Good.
Yeah, let's try that. Because I know I'm gonna forget to keep turning. How's that, a little better?
Time will tell.
Nope. Well, can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
How about me, Joe?
You're faint, but I can make you out better than before.
All right, well, we'll make sure that you can hear him when he gets here, when he's talking.
Okay.
Shared services agreement between the state not to exceed $25,000. Each provider keeps his own employees in his own supervision and responsible for their own municipality. It covers machinery and what happens with damages.
What was the amount?
25.
Not to exceed 25,000.
Thank you.
All right. Is there any objection? I'll pass this around. We can come back to a vote if you want to take a minute to look at it. And we'll go on with everything else while we're waiting. More housekeeping. I would like at this time to offer you an appointment for Department of Public Works Superintendent. We did advertise, we didn't get any qualified applicants any further than what we had. Joe Cohn of our own Department of Public Works applied and is qualified enough, I think, and to work his way up to being perfectly qualified without too much time or effort. I would ask you to offer the job with a 9-month probation that gets him closer to the full requirement for the job, because it's a 2-year previous supervisor experience, and he doesn't have that. No matter what we do, we can't get it for him, but we can get him real close. So you need a motion to appoint Public Works Superintendent to Joe Cohn.
So moved.
And a second, and everybody votes.
Yes.
Yes.
And yes, thank you. Congratulations, Joe. If you're still willing to accept it, we'd like you to be our superintendent.
Hello, we can't hear you.
I think you fall off the chair.
Yeah, I'll accept it.
Thank
Sorry, I
you.
hit the wrong button.
Okay, thank you and good luck.
Don't forget coffee.
Thanks.
All right, I'll offer you a laborer to fill the vacated position from last December. Laborer Michael Foster, we would start him also at the lowest step on the laborer rate, and I couldn't tell you what that is. I meant to look it up and didn't get a minute. It's around 1580 something, I think. Also with the 6-month probation. That's pretty standard, I think.
Well, we're changing it in the employee's handbook to a year.
Too late, or not soon enough yet.
Okay, well, I'm just saying,
It'll be too late for us to.
okay,
You can apply any probationary period that you want. According to what I can read in the labor summary, civil service summary. If you want to go for a longer period, let me know. Otherwise, I thought 6 months was adequate.
yeah, that's 1427, starting May. This is the new budget.
Okay, I believe you. I don't know why I thought it was 15. I think I had.
Unless I'm leaving right
No,
there.
you're not, I'm sure. No, it's 1410, right.
Oh,
I'm sorry, I had another number. I was thinking of the other rate. 1410 for this year. We're still in this year's budget.
gotcha.
That's next year's budget proposal.
All right, yeah.
All right, I am. So, Michael Foster, there's no objection. So, and a second,
Second,
and a vote.
yes.
Yes.
Yes. And yes, thank you. I'll give him a jingle and let him know, and he'll sign up. Hopefully, he can start on Monday. Yes. Oh, thank you. Want to take a peek at that? Sure. So, we have 2 new hires. Let's get right into the department business. I want to introduce the fire department request for image trend contract addendum. Let me fill that out here in a minute. You have it there? Not in this budget year. The image trend addendum covers reporting. Thank you. It allows our ambulance to report to other hospital units. And cost. One-time fee is $600 to get them set up. And what was it? The annual fee also, do you remember, Dale? Captain Wellington, are you right there?
Yeah, you're breaking it up a lot though.
Okay, I don't know if there's anything I can do about that. Image Trend, can you tell me what the annual contract amount is?
Annual, is $2,000.
That's what it is. 600, for setup fee and $2,000 annual contract.
It's, let me see if I got it. I know it was 2,000.
It's, you have 3 destination hospitals that you need to set up with.
Okay,
That's just a one time.
that's another program. That is the No 2 program that we need to send the PCRs to the hospitals. Utica Hospital do not have fax machines, so we have to send them through fax through the our computer.
All right, I thought they were all the same. So then, could you help us out?
Yep.
The Note 2 is just a $600 setup. Is there an annual fee with that?
Okay, let me check with my paperwork. Image Trend is the actual program that we have to use to do our patient reports now.
Right.
Okay, that was $600 was for the 3 modules and $1,400 for the program. That's a yearly cost.
Okay, that's what we're looking at right here. All right, so it's the $600 is here. It says one-time setup here.
Yes, that's the modules.
Okay, and then $1,400 annually.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. We do have it straight. What they need, that wasn't part of the original contract. That's why we're making an addendum. So, do you need any more explanation as to what's going on here? This is so that they can plug into and report to other hospitals and Bassett. Okay.
And that's also to send the report to New York State and ARMS.
Okay. So we need a motion, first to extend the money and secondly to allow us to sign the contract because it's a contract addendum. Okay, motion then to, sign contract and pay the additional money. We can do that all in one, right there. And a second and a vote. And yes, thank you. Is there anything you want to add to that, Captain?
No, everything's going well with that program. I'm on my 3rd week of training. We got our members, EMT members, doing practice sessions with it, and we're coming along pretty good. A lot better than some of the local departments.
All right, good news. And I will send that document tonight when I get home.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Yes, that's next up. Okay. I have in front of us a request to buy or lease, thank you, a Kubota skid steer. I know, this is tough when I don't come prepared. Joe, can you talk to us a little about that? I can distribute the pay schedule, but you can tell them what you need it for.
Well, we want to replace our skid steer. We've had it since 2012. It sees salt every day. We use it every day, and it's just getting to that time to replace it. We're basically asking you guys to see what your thoughts are on whether we should lease one, because it is a possibility to do that, or just buy it outright.
The benefit of a lease is that,
Anything goes wrong, they fix it.
Joe,
The benefit of a lease is if you do a 3-year lease, you get a warranty coverage for that full 3 years.
right, and a new machine at the end of the year, if you go that way.
I'm sorry, what?
And a new machine possibly at the end of that term.
Right, and then you would just start again. So you could go through two machines in say 6 years. You end up paying about $10,000 more for the two machines than if you did one, but you would be covered under warranty through that whole term, and you would have gotten two machines instead of just one.
And that's a machine that takes a pretty good beating, right?
Yeah, we use it pretty much every day, and actually, once we get a new one, we will use it even more.
Okay. What's your recommendation? Which term?
I wouldn't do anything more than 3 years.
You have any quotes from anyone yet?
I only got one quote because I was just trying to see if leasing was a possibility. I can obviously get more quotes from other dealers, but I just started with one for now and wanted to see what it would look like.
I have one quick question for you, Joe.
Yep.
Are you dead set on Kubota?
Kind of. One of the biggest things that,
The door?
yes,
Yeah, I know. Because I think Bobcat would come in a little cheaper, but.
it's a possibility. We haven't really looked. We saw the design of the Kubota and we looked at one and we liked it. Doesn't mean we should have looked at other kinds. We still can, but it was the one that we liked. And we've had a New Holland and
Don't go New Holland again.
no.
Right, but I would say, from my perspective, I would like to see a quote from Bobcat, and I would also
Okay.
like to see a quote from ASV. In my opinion, those are the three main competitors. ASV's in Syracuse, and Bobcat's in pretty much it's in Rome, a little bit further. It's in Warner is the closest dealership.
Yeah, Warner. Okay.
But I would like to see personally a quote from both of those, because I know from my own experience, Bobcat just came in real low on lease. But I do have a concern with the lease too, because the price and availability of all these machines is going skyrocketing right now. We
Right.
end up in turn, ending up with a piece of equipment in 3 years when you can't get that, because they're backlogged a year right now, and it's only getting worse. If you bought it and you could nail down a buy date, you may end up being way further ahead on buying it than leasing it. I understand. What is the warranty
It's
when you buy?
it's 3 years. I don't know. The way they explained it is it's pretty much anything like mechanical, as long as you didn't if you broke something, you're going to have to fix it.
Right.
But it's pretty much bumper to bumper 3 years, as long as you don't break something by abusing it.
Right.
But that's lease though, right?
No, that's fine.
That's fine.
If you buy it, it's 3 years too.
Just because of the predicament we're in right now with the availability of the machines, I'm going through this right now, and we're having a really hard time getting one. And I'm thinking that our machine we bought last year is worth $4,000 more than what we paid for it last year. It went up $4,000 with 5, 6, almost 700 hours on it.
Oh my God.
It's worth $4,000 more than what we paid for it, because we have it right now. Somebody can come and buy it. We can charge whatever we want for it. Now, if this all goes back to normal real quick, a lease is great.
Right.
If it doesn't go back to normal real quick, a lease is not your option, because you're never going to be able to replace your lease
Unfortunately, we're not gonna
in
know how
3
quickly
years.
it's going.
Right. So that's the only reason why I'm reluctant with that. I don't know. We can talk about it.
Well, Joe, we have a
think-
meeting in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Can you see if you can get the 3 quotes that trustee Van Riper asked for, and ask them to break them down in outright sale and a term lease.
Okay.
Right.
Just to kind of go off of what Luke was saying, after the lease is done, they will take the value of the piece of equipment. And if, say, these are 300-hour lease, 300 hours per year lease. So say you only used 100 hours each one of those years, you're obviously way lower than what you're supposed to be at. The machine's going to be worth more, and they'll actually end up buying it from you and give you the difference in what the residual value was and what it's actually worth now. And they can roll that into the next lease.
But we also have to take into consideration the exposure to the elements that your machines get.
Correct.
A lot of municipalities go lease.
Yeah.
They do, and I know that
We're going
for a
lease.
fact, right?
Yeah.
I'm just afraid of the
Chip
3-year
mark.
mark right now, because, but if we have the option to buy it out at the end, that'll be a locked in price.
We do.
So, I mean, if it saved us money in long term to start out with a lease and then end up owning it, if we can't find another viable option, I'm okay with that too.
Okay.
But I think you're gonna be really surprised. Did they give you any date of when they thought that this could come to fruition, Joe, or were they?
He said he seemed to think about a month.
That's crazy, but
All right,
I
well,
hope so.
if we can get this by the April meeting, 13th, we should be able to give you a good answer.
Okay.
All right?
I meant to buy a boat.
Anything else, Joe? I got your report. I'm about to distribute it to the trustees for them to read. Well done. I like the format and I like the content.
The only other thing that I want to add to that, I was talking with the town today. We're almost thinking that it might be a good year to do the brush pile.
Okay, we did that last 4 years ago.
It's been 4 years. Yep.
Yep,
You sure? 'Cause I was working down there when
I wasn't mayor though. 3 or 4.
I remember because it was the first year Tommy was here, and he's been here 4 years this summer.
Yeah,
because I was working down there when they did it, but I wasn't down there that day.
maybe, yeah. Yeah, that's a necessary expense. We build that in each year.
Right. So I'm going to contact them and see when the earliest they can do it is, because I know they're just like all over the place. If you remember correctly, there's only one company that we know of that does that.
Right,
So we're kind of at the whim of them,
yeah.
as far as I know. I'll look a little bit more too, make
Alright.
sure there isn't someone else, but
Okay. Yeah, but I haven't gotten there yet. I want to take care of this first before I forget about it. The shared services agreement. Did everybody get a chance to peek at that?
Yes.
Is that something that you have no objection to? Do you have an objection to it? Wow, that was a real support.
I have no objection.
Thank you. All right, shared services. I don't see that on here. Oh, there it is. So then, may I have a motion to enter into agreement with the State of New York Department of Transportation?
So moved.
And a second, and a vote.
Yes.
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 Yes, and yes, thank you. You can pass that to the clerk, please. It's signed and ready to go. We have some DPW people interested in Class D water license, right? Thank you. Joe, are you still there?
yes, I'm still here. Chad and I would like to go and get our D-water license. It's actually required that one of us has a D-water license to be able to dig water lines.
Right.
At this point in time, we need to have Doug there on the site with us while we do it. This would make it a little easier on all of us.
Absolutely. The more people that have it, the better off we are.
Yes.
Did anybody else want to consider the second course so that we have everybody licensed?
I think Tommy was kind of like him and Han about it, but I know me and Chad definitely want to do it.
All right, well, let's get those first two taken care of then. First, we need to authorize our 2 employees to take the course, and then we need to authorize the payment, right? Yeah.
And also, if that falls within the license stipulation of 50 cents more an hour.
It does not, because that's a requirement of the, yeah, that's a requirement of the job. The additional, as I understand it, and I could be wrong, the additional hourly pay for licenses is for a license outside of your department or a license outside of your job description.
Right.
And-
75 cents an hour.
$1.50 now.
We raised it?
Yes, last year,
Okay, anyway.
yes. Okay? That's good. Yeah, no, that's good to say that out loud.
Robin,
Yes, right here.
I'm not 100% sure if it's in any of our job descriptions. I don't think it is.
It is part of the department requirement, though. We need to have somebody that has that license.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, because along with the CDL. That's part of your job.
That it will be, yes. Okay,
I'll make a motion.
and yes, a motion, please, and a second,
Second,
Yes.
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 Yes,
and yes, thank you. If there's any sign up involved, do we do that online? Is that a credit card payment, or do we send a check, Joe?
I'm not 100% sure. I wasn't starting to like sign anything up yet until I had approval, so I'll have to check.
All right. Good enough. If there's nothing else, thank you for your help.
No, I don't believe I have anything else other than what was on my agenda thing.
Tree quotes? I see that's on the agenda. Did you get quotes?
Did we need more quotes?
I don't remember. I don't remember where we left it, to be honest with you.
I'm saying,
I don't think we did.
We didn't need them or didn't get them?
Didn't need them.
We didn't need any more?
Right,
just
I
need
think
to
we did.
decide.
I thought we said go ahead
Yeah,
if he's still willing to go with what he had said. on the
Okay.
trees, then let's get it
so
done.
then we're gonna have to get in touch with the owner of the property
Yeah,
first.
that was where we left it, I
that's
believe.
right.
Okay. Okay,
I can go to those.
okay.
I haven't seen it.
So we're all right with removing the tree. We just need to get the owner on board.
Yep, I think it's 2 trees, wasn't it?
The
One on the end of Bronner and Lake,
That's the only one I had in mind. What was the other one?
River, but I don't remember.
River and,
Yes, there was another one down on that side of town, but I
There was
didn't think we were
another
gonna take care of that one this year. That
okay,
one lays in more. We're gonna talk about that one.
okay,
But the one on across from Bronner Street is
That
right
one's on the road.
On the street.
Exactly.
yeah.
Okay. All right. So Joe, are you still there?
Yep.
We are permitting the removal of that tree. I'll get with you, and I know I have to get with you this week anyway, and we'll talk about how to get in touch with the property owner for what we,
Okay.
okay?
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
We need to approve at this meeting the purchase of the Badger meters. I think it was 75 meters. And I don't think I have that with me either. It was an email.
I think it was 70.
I think he reduced it to 75, but they got a good deal. The vendor kept the discount that he was offering because we have gotten in touch with him. We just couldn't get it around quickly enough to sign the paperwork. And I did not, I don't believe I have that. No, this is Dale's stuff. I don't have that. Dale, do you have that? Is anybody, oh, here it is. I was able to get pricing Thursday and Friday to avoid a 3% increase. That's what it was. Decided to go with 75 register endpoints and 24 meters, 12 inch setters, and a box of 5/8 inch leather washers. Total would be $17,412.87. And we need to order that. We need to give approval to order that. It was in the budget, just so you know, it was part of this current year budget. I think actually we budgeted $20,000 for that between the two departments, the water and the wastewater. I don't think I wrote the number down, but I know I budgeted for it. 10,000 for meters.
A piece. You're right, there's 20.
Yes, between the two. And then 9750 plus 660 for the meters, the registers and bodies. So he's coming in under what we budgeted for that. So can we approve that purchase, please, for the water and wastewater department?
So moved.
And a second.
Second,
And a
Yes.
vote.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, and yes, thank you. You let them know, Dale, please. I don't know if anybody's watching tonight. I told them we'd hurry it up for them. All right.
Is Joyce still there?
Joe Cohn, are you still there?
Still here.
All right, question
The
for you.
Water license course,
Yes,
both of them the same day?
yes, there are two courses, one in July, help me out, Joe, and one in September,
October.
October.
Again, but I mean, they're both gonna
They
go
will-
the same course,
yeah.
same day.
Yeah.
My only concern is what the other two employees gonna
Hopefully the superintendent will have work for them.
do. Right, but they gotta be supervised, that's the thing, because they're laborers. No.
They don't need direct supervision.
Well, I'm just saying, if, line up, maybe somebody could go to the water plant and help out, or whatever.
Well, yeah,
They-
well,
Yeah, that's all, that's why I was
yeah,
concerned.
that's
Some-
administrative, or, management, we can talk about that later.
yeah, some-
yeah. But they can both go at the same time and get that done.
Oh, yeah, no problem, I'm just
Okay.
curious what was gonna be left over.
Okay.
They were gonna do.
Yeah.
That's all.
All right, thank you. Thanks, Joe.
Yep.
Service contract. Did you want to talk about that right now?
Where we left off with that is, we basically, are we going to send them a contract for them to fill out, and then the board will make the decision based on the contract, other than just have, we want that in front of us first, would that be the next step?
Well, there should be no changes to the contract.
They would need to fill them out, and then the board, we wouldn't authorize the agreement without it in front of us, correct?
Right.
Okay, so I will go ahead and mail them the contract, and make it back.
Very good.
I want to make sure.
Okay. I thought you were giving them an opportunity to change it and then,
They didn't even reply yet.
okay. Oh, okay, good. All right. Before we go any further, there's a lot of talk out there about the American Rescue Plan. Has anybody been reading that? All right. President Biden and his Congresses have authorized the expenditure of quite a lot of money, and it's filtering down to us. Coming through let's see if I can remember it. It's coming directly from the federal government. Our portion is coming through the town somehow. We stand to be collecting around $130,000 in 2 increments to be spent before the end of 2024. This money is intended to relieve us of anything we lost as far as income, anything that we spent in excess of what we needed to or ordinarily would expend because of COVID and the pandemic. There aren't a lot of restrictions. There are not a lot of restrictions, but the ones that are pretty serious. What this is intended for is to strengthen communities and to provide for making up the losses. I'll let you all look through it, and this is the best narrative that I've found for it so far. Senator Schumer's webpage will give you some good discourse. I actually listened to Mr. Delgado last week, and he went through it pretty well. His office should have a lot of information. We're gonna get this money, and it's gonna be up to us to do something with it. I'd like it to be something that strengthens our community and provides not only stability, but helps us in the future. And I was thinking along the lines of reserve funds. Last year, we did not contribute to our reserve funds because we didn't want to tie the money up. I didn't even bring it to this table. We didn't want to tie it. We didn't know what it was going to look like. We got our budget in well ahead of the, after we'd been able to see what was going to happen, that we were going to be short on money. So we were able to adjust our budget, but we still didn't do some things that we should have done. And one of them is contribute to our reserves. We didn't buy equipment. Joe and I are talking about that now. There was a pickup truck the pickup truck that was scheduled for last year did not get purchased. We have a pretty good schedule, pretty rigorous schedule, and a rigid schedule too, for purchasing and replacing equipment. And last year was the first time in a long time that I remember we didn't replace a piece of equipment that was on schedule. So I'd like to get back to that, but this is going to help. We also have infrastructure needs, water, wastewater, especially down at the east end of the village. And I'll be talking to Doug and Chris about that. Maybe we can use some of that money to boost up some of the old infrastructure down there, the water sewer infrastructure. Hopefully we'll be made whole with the chips. Hopefully the latest round of budget talks sounds like we may be having some kind of similar water infrastructure money flowing. And so that'll, but for this $130,000, I think we need to look at it, understand it, and then decide how we're going to apply it. We should not be in any danger of losing it, but I still don't want to take any chances, and we do have to account for it. All right, that being said. Does anybody have anything, we've been through a lot of information right now. Does anybody have anything they need to contribute or want to ask about? I don't want to just blow through all of this stuff. Our code enforcement officer is returned, our zoning enforcement officer. Welcome back. Thank you for your service. We're glad to have you back. Do you have a report for us tonight? Start yourself off.
Well, it started out hot as soon as I took back the phone. I mean, there's a lot of things gonna be going on in the village, a lot of building, a lot of people are applying for permits and stuff like that. You guys are gonna see a mobile home being brought into the village. It was approved by the zone officer that took over from me. She checked, make sure that it is gonna fit where it does. It's actually smaller than the one that was there. I met with the engineer, John McManus yesterday, and the owner of the trailer park, which I believe is gonna be purchased by a new owner now. John McManus did approve the structure. He said it was in good, sound shape. We were both actually impressed with the age of it, how well it looked. So with that being said, it will be parked in the lot, not in the place where it's gonna be yet, because there's a lot of stipulations gonna go with that. I told him I would approve it being parked there for the time being, until he can get the new gravel pad that's gonna be put in per the engineer's request. That's gonna be put down, and then once he moves it in place, it'll be set, hooked up. It will go through a code inspection, saying, basically a sign off from the engineer saying it was installed to his specs. There'll be a certified insulator to be installing it, and then he'll get an electrical inspection of the trailer. Per New York State code, due to the age, those are all the requirements that are required that a design professional will approve the structure. He cannot approve the electrical, so now the owner has to hire an electrical inspector to look at it, and we will make sure the heat works. Covering that village-wise, the only stipulations around the lot is what's in the zoning laws. So you guys will be seeing that, so if you have questions, it's been approved.
All right.
So what are the different types? It's gonna get gravel.
The engineer actually talked to the owner about that. He specified what kind of tie downs, I don't remember exactly what he said, but it will be in his write-up. So that is actually an engineering code thing. We can't regulate that zone-wise. So.
I'm just curious what they're gonna.
Um,
Use concrete pad and incorporate or something.
no, this is something that actually, I can't remember the name. I should know this, but it's basically the anchors that twist into the ground.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So-
So an iron.
Yeah. So that's what, it'll be used for that. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I had a long talk with an engineer yesterday, and I met with him because of the fact that it was already approved zoning, so I met with him as a code official. And part of it was to make sure that, what was written on the application was in fact what was gonna be presented there and stuff like that. And it's like I said, the trailer is actually smaller than what was there. Looking at it looks bigger, but it's not. We measured and it's, like I said, the engineer was really impressed with it, so.
And it conforms with what we'd hoped would go back in that spot
Correct.
when we went through the legal issues.
And this would be going in a lot that's closer to the fence. If you're looking at, the kind of Center Street looking at it, it'd be going toward the fence side.
Yeah.
So, that's all I got.
Okay, thank you. Way to ease into it, right?
Yeah.
All right. If there's no objection, we'll waive the reading of the minutes from the previous meeting on the 9th and approve those minutes as they are corrected. And a second. Second. And a vote.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you have the treasurer's report in front of you. It looks like she needs some budget transfers and a cash transfer. So she's shoring up the account in the A fund, the library fund, and she's moving cash into the library account. And we're still within the budgeted amount. I think it was almost $60,000 budgeted for that. I have that right here.
I know. We have it.
Yeah, it was around, in the neighborhood of 60,000. Library, 59,168. I think we've made 2 transfers so far for $40,000.
Yeah.
Okay. A total of 40,000.
Yeah.
Can we make these transfers and cash transfer? Motion to make the transfers.
Move.
And a second.
I'll second.
Thank you. And a vote?
Yes.
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 And yes. Oh, Dale, would you tell us a little about the grant that Harriet won?
Yes,
And
they
you
reached
help.
out to us because the first grant we were applying for back when was denied because the purchase were made prior to the cutoff date. So they reached out to us probably, that was really very nice of them, and Harriet got on that where she made copies of banks, or excuse me, canceled checks, invoices, payments, vouchers, the whole 9 yards, and submitted it, and it was approved, so there's $1,000 coming in for that.
Yeah. And that covers a lot of what we spent, right? Yeah,
It's nice.
it does. And I didn't mean to overlook your contribution too. I know you started that out.
Try.
You did, all right. So that's good news. Continue with the good news, starting with an abstract.
Well, the bad news is I apologize, I have too many copies. But
Okay.
here's the summary anyway, for you to have. But, abstract number 20, general fund, which I will, by the way, put those in your mailboxes. $19,594.25. Water fund, $2,958.25. Sewer fund, $5,376.75. Trust and agency, $82.64, for a total of $28,011.89.
Motion to approve abstract 20.
So move.
And a second. Second. And a vote.
Yes.
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 And yes.
Can I just, every year we do the water sewer levy resolution. It's unchanged from previous years. I just wanted to lay out this time about line fee charges if unpaid for more than 2 months. We'll go on that because obviously it won't be up to the 150 being line fees only. And anything over to $150 for the admin fee of $150. And that will be April 20.
And that's no change from last year.
That's no, I think we had actually 200 last year. I believe it was either 150 or 200 is kind of high.
I think
Okay.
it was 200. I think we did.
Yeah, so I'd like it to be 150.
Okay. And my only argument, and I know we talked about this, the admin fee, when you levy it to the county, it's a little different story, but ordinarily, that's the reason we moved the salaries of the treasurer and the clerk, parts of their salaries to each of the water and wastewater plants. Now, the users are paying for those salaries, and it's not using up a fund, labor. So when you're applying an admin fee ordinarily, like for the shut-offs and things like that, that's where I object to it, but this is the levy out to the county.
And it's broken out 75 for each department.
Yeah, thank you.
So I just need a Motion to adopt the resolution.
Resolution to,
For the water sewer levy.
I'll make a motion.
in a second. Okay. And a vote.
Yes.
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 Yes. And yes.
And just to remind about the organizational meeting, or I just have to keep that on.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, that's good.
That's good, and I actually have I'm gonna offer you an opportunity to hold a budget workshop immediately following. If anybody thinks that we could use one of those, I'd be happy to sit here and go through how I arrived at the numbers I'm offering, and we can change those, right, anytime up until the hearing? Is that what you told me? As long as it's a proposed, but,
Yes.
tentative budget,
You're right. Right up to the hearing
Okay.
when you adopt
It's
it.
tentative, it can change. That's why it's-
without any vote from this body, and after that, we have to.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm finally getting it. You know what would happen. So, do we want to meet immediately following? Is there any interest in that?
Yeah.
And I'll bring my work papers, and you can make all the comments and suggestions you want, and everything's in play. It was a tough year. It was. All right, good. And there it is, meetings back to public attendance, budget workshop.
I do have one thing I see you went over, missed it kind of.
I probably did. I'm
What's
just,
the pre-demo app on 55 Lake Street? for
where,
Thank you.
Jim
where do
Jordan,
you see it?
Under new business,
new business.
Oh, yeah.
that's a big item.
Oh, no,
I have it.
I got it.
I have it. Wait a minute.
Somebody mentioned yesterday. Yeah.
I came with my own cheat sheet because I knew I was running low on time this week, and okay. All right, good. You go ahead. Can you tell us about that, and I'll make sure I didn't miss anything else.
Just, the 55 Lake Street, they want to demolish it.
Yes.
That's where that building's at, I think.
Penny Saver office?
What's that?
I said, I think that, 55 Lake,
55
the old Penny Saver?
No.
No,
No, it's the
No,
other
no,
building.
Mickey's.
No, Nikki.
No, yeah, yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh, you're running home.
Not,
Want to be a apartment house?
yeah, no, I know, that's where that building's at, I think. I'm very glad to see that.
Well, he had it open all winter in the back.
It's been open for a long
I
time.
mean,
right.
and finally just covered it up. There could be dead cats and who knows what down in that basement too.
No, I was happy to see that on there, but
Good. So we have the dental app. Can you tell us what we needed and what we have? We have everything we need. I
We
think.
do. We're supposed to have, according to village code, certificate of liability insurance, check. Certificate of workers' comp self-insurance, check. Being that it's covered bond, that he will not require that being self-employed. Surety bond or security deposit in the amount to project the covered costs for compliance, surety bond is in place.
Okay. So we need approval to send that document to the county so that they can issue a demo permit. And all I need to do is have your authorization to sign it.
So moved.
And a second.
Yes.
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 Yes. You want that now or you want?
You can pass it over, and I'll make sure it's signed by the time I leave. I have nothing more tonight, thank you. Trustee Leonard?
Oh, on top of this. I just got a question.
Yes, you are.
The water fee shutting down off is $35 now?
It's a suggestion.
It's 25 now,
It's 20.
20, yeah.
sorry, yes.
My own personal opinion, we shouldn't charge it all, in my opinion.
That's what we were just talking about, yeah.
Okay.
The shut off, but
Charge them to turn it back on, but not shut it.
actually,
I wouldn't even do that.
well, we do want to encourage people to, the reason I think it shouldn't be so high is to encourage people to ask for it to shut off, but we want them to ask for it to shut off. We don't want to risk a leak
And
or a burst, for people that leave every year.
Well, I understand that, but I mean,
Over.
if I'm gonna go to North Carolina for the winter, I'm gonna shut that water off, but if you're not gonna charge me to shut, I'm still gonna shut that water off. I mean, I don't think you should get a fee for it, that's all.
no, only if it's shut off at the curb.
Yeah,
But we don't want people turning it off and having us come down and shut it off and shut it, and turn it back on and off. 4 or 5 times a year.
Yeah, I don't understand why they can do that. I mean,
They do. I don't understand why people do a lot of things.
you know, I mean, you get it free twice a year. You turn it off once, it's free, and you turn it back on free. Anything else, then you pay for it.
Well, then maybe we would need to revise
You
the,
know, but I mean, as far as, the taxpayer pay enough as it is, just to have them over to this number,
Okay, so just so you're aware of what my thought process is, the bulk of the people who have it on and off are Greens Park and Glen Glass and the Opera. And like, it was mentioned, snowbirds. The people who have it off for plumbing work, we don't charge. If it's on off a day or two later, we don't charge. For if that's instructed by Doug and Chris, we don't charge because it's just an emergency situation. They're exempt from everything, so that's why I thought the bulk of those properties, maybe not 35, but right now it's 20. And last year you got no revenue whatsoever in water, sewer, from Greens Glass or Greens Park. So that was my thought.
but you say they're not taxpayers, but they are users and their money what they use, they pay for.
What they use, they pay for, but every year it's on and off, and there's about 9 of them. So I was just thinking along that line is all.
yeah, but you can't do it for them.
No, I'm not saying I would only do it for them, that's my thought.
It's gotta be equal for everybody.
Exactly, it is,
So-
and it is.
Yeah, right, I understand that, but I'm saying you can't charge them $35, and everybody else will pay 20.
No, we didn't intend to do that.
Yeah, I'd say
Well, it was a suggestion, it was on there, and I did speak with the mayor, but, I do think 20 is fine.
All right. And we did talk about it for quite a few minutes, and I was of the same opinion as you. We're already paying the salaries to take care of this.
Right.
So many people are saying they don't want the water rates to go up, I was just trying to generate.
Yeah.
Get some
But
revenue, that was all.
there's an argument on both sides.
Yeah,
It's
always, that's what makes it.
what makes it an argument, right?
Yeah.
Can we do away with the $20 charge though?
Yes, I don't know if you want to do that unconsidered. I think you might want to look at the whole. You bring a proposal.
And again, that's admin fees right there. Every time we generate a work order, we turn it off, and then they will do that, and we have to sign off on it.
Yes, but you're also being paid to do that. That's,
Okay, yeah.
you know what I mean?
Throw that out there.
Yeah.
I mean, it would make my work less. Program,
But
I like this.
but the water sewer department is already paying for it. The reason I would have an admin fee was if the water sewer
No, I'm
department.
just saying it would make work less. You
Yeah.
don't have to be entering so much into the computer. but
Right.
it's not
Wow.
big deal at all.
No. Because you can't be using, if we're paying 100% of the clerk's salary out of the A fund, it's not right to be using that salary to pay for water, sewer expenses, but now that we have them split up, I just wanted to make sure that's where I'm coming from, that's why I don't agree with the user fee, or the shut off fee rather. So we can definitely think about that. I'd rather not take it tonight, I'd rather come in with a plan. Trustee Walshipski.
Yes, I do have a couple things.
All right.
If we were to rent Jim Jordan's building, where would that money come from?
That would be, we'd have to make a budget expenditure for that. That would be rent. We'd have to raise taxes. We'd have to raise the money somehow. There is no way we're going to find the money somewhere because we're not paying rent now.
Right.
Exactly. But if you were to build a building, you'd have to come up with the capital to build a building, whether it's a grant or,
How about that $125,000?
yeah.
Build a pole barn. Right now.
Thought I put it in here, but maybe I didn't. I sent an email to the attorney and asked her what she'd like to see in the new building. If and when we went that way. So she would like to see, and she has grant money available for, she told me that. For furniture and things like that.
The judge? The judge? Okay, all right.
Okay, says we have a JCAP grant that we can use to construct new court facilities. One thing I would like to see in a new court facility would be a judge's chamber, 2 desks and 2 computers, so my clerk and I can work together to get things done, and no window located in the back of the bench. If we can, I would love to have a small conference room for the DA and the PD to speak or for attorneys to speak with their clients. Attorneys normally speak to their clients now in the bathroom or in Joe's office. So how do I proceed with this?
I have never done one of these before. I've done a lot here, but that's one thing I haven't done.
I had asked Jim for rent, what his rent would be, and he can't give me a figure right now.
Probably because he's working on the building, right? Yeah.
And also, what was the other thing? There was something else. Okay, I have no mind.
That's all right. When it comes to you, let us know. What do we need to do to move our village operation out of this library?
Oh, that's what I did. I thought I brought the downstairs, when there was an inspection, there was a whole list of safety issues that were brought up.
That was the justice inspection last year, the audit last year. Yes. Yes. We addressed some of those. That's where some of the mirrors came from, I think. That's the placement of the cameras. I don't know that we actually went in her chambers to do anything in there, but we should have. We should be doing something in there. But there's not that much room. What we should be doing, we really can't, right? So that's the logical step. Look for a place that's safe for everybody.
Right.
The building next door may be it, but I guess, who do we talk to? I don't know. Who would you talk to?
I'm not sure what you're asking.
What do we need to know and what do we need to do to move the village office and the village justice out of this building? What,
I think we just gotta come up with a floor plan.
okay, who would,
We've got to come up with some money.
Well, you gotta start somewhere, so you gotta come up with a floor plan
Got every floor plan of the building, so we know.
of the square footage and how much you think you're gonna have for this department, for the clerk's office, the treasurer's office, the meeting room for attorneys and whatever. Okay, and when you come up with that, then we gotta find out who's gonna build it. Now, is Jim gonna do the construction on the inside?
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, he could, we're renting from him, is he gonna,
If we commit,
Accommodate us.
my understanding was we could have it laid out how we want it.
Sure.
okay, so,
But we would still need to probably fund that,
Yes.
at least in part. I don't know where,
Might be
I
able
mean,
to
we
get-
might be able to get grants,
That's what
but
I'm
we're
saying.
still gonna have to fund part of it. Are there 2 trustees that want to commit themselves to finding this, or one more trustee to commit to help Barb put that together and build a package so that we have something to look at, so that we can present something to somebody else to look at? We need an engineer. Right, we need to confer with New York State Justice, definitely, if we're going to bring the courts with us.
Well, that's what I was thinking, the legality part of the court. Does that have to be inspected by, like, again, the sheriff's department?
I do
To be
not know.
okay?
I don't know, but I think going forward it probably does.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking. So I mean, it's involving a lot of people.
Components.
It
You know,
does. It
it's-
does.
it-
But we need to start it somewhere so that
No,
somebody
I,
can say you're doing it
I
wrong.
agree, definitely, right, and then we can learn,
Right.
you know, from
I mean,
that.
we're all in agreement that we need to move somewhere.
Yeah, I
would
agree.
say. I would say.
I think that's unanimous, but
Yeah, but it's not how we get there.
how, right?
Oh.
I'll help Bart
Okay.
work on
I'll see what I can find out too.
it. Right, I mean, the more people add this
Yeah,
or
sure.
adding things, the better, I think, but,
Just be careful of the meeting, that's all, but you
Right,
know,
right.
you can get ideas to each other back and forth.
Email or
You know,
something.
or two at a time even.
yeah,
Bring in any public that you think would be helpful.
Right.
Any professionals you think would be helpful.
The guy behind me.
Well, I don't trust him. Yeah, I mean, it's not I don't know, it is a big deal, but you know.
The last part's gonna be the big deal, paying for it.
yeah, well, that's what I'm concerned about already, finding payment, because
There's
it's gonna
gotta be
raise
grants.
tax and nobody wants to raise
No.
taxes. on
There's
it.
gotta be grants out there for this kind of
I'm
stuff.
sure
Well-
there's
I would
grant money,
imagine.
but I don't think grant money's consistent enough to be a long-term solution.
No, it's
It'll
not.
help you now.
Right.
But long-term, you're gonna have to compensate somewhere else, which means increased revenue in the tax
Yeah.
basin. And that's gonna cause,
But
people say
we're,
we did it this way for 100 years.
Yeah.
Let's keep doing it this way.
So
So,
I guess to be a safety issue.
well, it's already
It
there,
is.
right? It's there, and now we're liable. I don't know so much as we're liable, but somebody's liable, and it's not good. I'd much rather feel better about this for the judge's safety and everyone else's safety.
for everybody's, I don't even like going down in the village office, you know.
Right,
You know how to
right.
get out if it's an emergency.
Right, exactly.
Well, trust me, them windows come out real fast.
Yeah, they do, but I don't climb real well anyway.
That's why I get tired.
It's amazing when that fire like that.
Right.
Put a little ladder down.
It's not even that. We've had some incidents downstairs with ruckus crowds that just,
Yeah.
there's no escaping them. So we're on the right track. We just have to get started. I think we are started now, so let's go full steam ahead.
And see, if you talk to Jim again, see the difference between renting it from him or leasing it from him. What he would do either way.
We plan on offering that to the town too, so they can,
That's always been in the back of my mind. I don't know how much interest you'll get in it, but
you know, you gotta configure space in for them too, you know.
yes, but we
Their
also,
Office and,
we can also alleviate part of the cost.
oh yeah, I understand, I
Yeah.
mean, that's gotta be added in, the square
Absolutely.
footage part of it.
Absolutely.
Especially since
Just-
they're every third Monday.
Which they could use the same judge's chamber, I would
Oh, yeah,
think.
yeah, no,
Well, they
just-
were for a long time, right?
Right, and I think you just have to have another office or something for the, so that the
File
town
cabinets.
clerk and the town judge and the
Yeah.
village clerk and the village judge would be separate, subdivided room, whatever it might be, but,
Right.
I mean,
But,
oh,
yeah,
you're talking about the judge's clerk.
No, the elected officials, elected and appointed officials.
right,
Um,
right,
Clerk and treasurer, the town
Oh, yeah,
clerk.
yeah, right, I'm just talking about the judge part of it.
right.
Right.
Town court or whatever.
I'm
Are
saying
you
the
talking
town
about
judge
the
and the
town
village judge
office?
need to have a
Oh, that's what I
separate
thought you were
office.
asking.
Oh, no, I thought you were just going to the judge.
Oh, yeah,
Town
I don't know. We'd have to run it by them. We'd have
I
to-
don't know if we had moving them.
I know, it's gonna be tight, I think.
Well, but you don't use it at the same time.
Right.
That's the thing.
Right, you just need separate, like, the town judge couldn't come in and use the village judge's actual office, not so much the judge's chamber, but the office itself. Because they wouldn't use the same computers, I don't think. I'm assuming they'd have to be separate.
You
The
would
only
have
thing
to-
they'll use is the judge,
The actual courtroom,
just the bench.
the
Right.
bench,
That's
right,
what they'll both use. Everything else is going to be separate.
right.
You know, so they're going to have their own office.
So instead of 2 offices or 1 office, you need 4, or,
Well, the judge and the clerk will have probably the same office.
Well, I would say, I don't know. You might want to check that with the justice, New York State Justice. You might not
find out if they could have shared computers and.
Not computers, just office space.
Right.
You'd need separate files.
Right.
and-
Yeah.
Which I'm
Computers.
thinking
You'd have to split
it'd be
them.
easier to partition the wall and add a
Yes.
door, rather than have one big room where they work on one side and these ones
Or,
work on the other.
yeah,
You couldn't, they'd have to be
But-
separate,
Right.
lockable.
but
That's-
anyway,
that's-
that's provided that the town actually wants to go in.
Right, it's worth making a phone call or
Right.
bringing it up.
Well, that's something we'd have to ask before you start.
Right.
modeling, you know.
Before you start floor plan,
Yeah.
but you can go ahead and find space.
Oh, yeah, you
Yeah.
can draw one up with it
Sure,
and one without it.
sure.
You know, it's not a-
Okay, but I should probably ask the town if they'd be
I-
interested.
Yeah, I would attend a meeting and bring it up to the whole,
Okay.
or someone you know.
I'll call them.
There you go.
Well, there you go.
All right then,
Go right to the top.
Uh-huh.
right? Anything else on that list of yours?
No, I think that was, I just feel like it's so slow moving,
Yeah,
but it's gonna be, I know.
yeah.
Patience is not one of my virtues.
But good work anyway, thank you.
Okay.
Trustee Van Riper.
I only have one thing, and it might not be even a thing that we can have any control over or not,
Okay.
but I drive by that post office every day. And I look at those busted steps and busted railing and the cop job fix and it kills me. I would love for somebody to do something there and get that fixed. Now that we're in good weather, that there's not really any excuse as to why the state isn't in here,
It's not the state, it's the federal government.
but okay.
And they have nothing on their register. I checked their register every month.
Nothing.
Nothing for any
Well,
post
it's
office in
killing
the whole
me.
United
I'm
States.
about to donate my time and fix it because it's killing me.
The whole United States.
I'm watching the steps fall apart more.
Let me,
So what is,
It's
next time I'm in
ridiculous.
there, I'll see if I
It's
can get it.
so
ridiculous.
what is holding it up? What's holding it up, I think, is that, they wanted it back to the original, the marble
Yeah.
steps.
Oh.
That got brought up, but that
That shouldn't
got
stop.
shot down.
That's actually dangerous.
It is,
Yeah.
that's what.
That got shut down. They were just gonna repair it to the standard it was, not most recent, not long-term, you know, not up to historical standard,
Mhm.
but, and then it was postponed because they were investigating and needed to leave it in shambles. And now they're done investigating.
They're done with the investigation.
Everything came out, and I mean, I think
If
that
I
should
put a
be
letter
fixed.
together and you all want to sign it?
I would sign it in a heartbeat.
Also,
I'll even help you write the letter or write the letter.
All right, well, the biggest thing.
Take
would be-
something off your plate, but
All right, go
I
ahead.
would be happy to.
We need to figure out who to write it to.
That's my thing. I don't know who to write it to be heard,
So,
you know?
Let
I
me
would
look around.
send a copy of the letter, at least to the local postmaster.
oh yeah, they're waiting for it too.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'd love to
Wouldn't
have
it be-
it.
What's working on that?
I mean, there's two organizations there now. You got the federal government and you got the state who created the accident.
I don't want to sit in the same room with all those guys.
Maybe-
No, but I'm just saying, you know, so,
Yes.
I mean, they're probably in turmoil between who's gonna pay for what. Because of two, you know, state.
Should be
and
an
federal.
insurance settlement.
Well,
wouldn't
you would think it would be that easy.
No fault.
yeah, it's New York.
But I don't know. Yeah, and send them to everybody. Send a letter to everybody. Congressman to everybody.
I mean, once you write the letter, you can just keep sending
it?
them
Right.
until you get somebody to do something. But
Oh, maybe that's it.
it's
Maybe,
killing me.
maybe we
it-
should be
it's
writing to
killing
Antonio Delgado and.
All of our, yeah,
Chuck
that's
Hammer?
representatives, yeah.
Because they have nothing else to do, right?
Right,
They
I'm
already gave us
sure.
all our money.
Yeah.
They must be
No,
done
I
working
know.
now. All right,
I don't know, but I'll work on getting one written up.
all right,
We'll see.
all right, and I'll work on some addresses. for you.
Okay, that sounds great.
All right, thank you. Trustee Putnam.
Yes, I had someone ask me to, ask about the cleaner that we have.
Mhm.
If they are insured and or bonded.
No, probably not.
Either one. You have to have insurance.
She might have insurance. Do we have insurance on, printer?
I thought we talked about this once.
Yeah, I thought she didn't need it.
She
She doesn't,
wouldn't need it because she's on our property, the village property. You know what I mean?
but she's contracted.
She's subcontracted,
No, contracted.
contracted.
We don't have it on Yearden, you know what I mean? We don't have it on the.
Can you,
Because they were suggesting that we probably should.
can you find out from,
Why would we, wait, I'm confused. Is
Well,
she
she
Well-
gets hurt here.
the village covers it, if she's on
Right.
village property? So why would she need insurance to clean the building?
any contractor we have that has their own insurance?
A rider.
A rider?
Yeah. Would you find out from, sorry,
I don't know,
Tracy, thank you. All you think was one thing. Tracy
It
Hoover.
might be covered by us.
By our
There might be a
I think we've
rider
been through it before
coverage.
because we decided we didn't need it, but, if she needs a peek at the contract, she can look at that too. I don't think she should.
Well, because this is the second time this person's asked me.
Okay, that's fair.
Haven't got, get back
Yeah.
on it.
That's fair. We need to know the answer.
Like,
All right.
Like,
Yeah, I'm done.
but
No.
it's
no.
a, it's a
I am done. I'll bring it up another time.
contractor we contract through,
Pardon me?
a contractor we hired to clean,
Yes.
Yeah.
so that person had to have their own insurance for her, his.
I don't remember seeing it in the
I
contract.
never even had a contract.
Yes, we do.
But we did it before.
Yes, we did
It
because,
was at the town, wasn't it?
no, I remember revising that contract right away as soon as I got here.
Okay, so I'll look.
It's fairly new. It's since 2018. We rewrote it so that everything was relevant. And then,
Yeah, you gotta have some kind of liability or whatever.
I don't know. There was a reason I don't think we needed to. I think we checked with the insurance agent at the time.
I'll check again.
Yeah,
I don't remember checking it all, so I'll,
It was Larry Jubin at the time.
gotcha.
So we would ask the new insurance agent what she thought.
Yeah, because I wasn't sure till,
Yeah,
and
I'm sure he gave us the right answer. I just don't remember it.
I do have one more thing.
We'll go ahead.
I don't want to open this can of worms right now, but everybody should think about it a little bit. Remember we gave those properties, sold the properties, however you want to word it, to the land bank?
Yep,
I have bad vibes about the land bank.
we're starting to, aren't we?
Yeah, I have a guy who's he was totally interested in the building, wanted to proceed, everything like that. He forwarded me all of his emails that he's gotten from the land bank, and it's ridiculous.
Okay, send them to me.
I will.
I'll be talking to.
I don't want to get into depth with it right this minute because it's a really lengthy topic, and I could probably forward all the emails to everybody so we can all read them.
Okay,
I read through them and talked to him for about 2 hours on it, and I told him I would bring it up at the meeting and we'd try to see what's going on. But moral of the story in a very short, concise manner is he was in the final steps of everything and was ready to sign, ready to buy, everything was done and agreed upon, and then they hit him with another contract at the end. And it was an agreement that they still have ownership over the property for 5 years. So he pays on it and owns it, and they still own it. I forget how it was worded, but he was like an under owner,
rent to own.
a rent to own, but it wasn't a rent to own. It was something totally different. His attorney advised him, do not sign it.
yeah. 'cause
Do not agree
they
to
can, they're right, they can step out
So-
of it and you're done.
And it was like
Making
really
good money.
long and drawn out, and he sent me all the emails describing everything. And, I can forward them all to you guys, but
Now, was it from the two that came here and talked to us about doing it?
the land bank?
Yeah.
The land bank, yeah, it wasn't,
Was it
it
Topher?
wasn't, it's about the blue building on Lake Street.
Yeah.
But I mean, he was all gung ho and ready he owns quite a few properties in town as it is. And he repairs them all, makes them look nice, and usually rents them out. And, he was like, just kind of in disbelief. He's like, I'm willing to buy this property and I would like to own it, but I'm not gonna deal with
Right.
that stuff.
Can't lose it.
Right, so, and he just I told him we could look into it and maybe go back through and look at our terms and conditions that we agreed to with the land bank, because I didn't remember seeing that
No.
portion of it in anything.
No, they
No,
want to sell them.
We want to sell it, so the fact that they're making it so hard for a buyer to buy it and do anything with it, that would make, that made me a
Because
little
they
upset.
originally only told us it was gonna be 5 years, 50%
5% or
of
something.
the, 50% of the taxes
I
are
don't even
off.
think it was 50.
Yeah.
Maybe it was 50, was it? Was it 50?
Yeah, taxes.
For 5 years.
For
and
5
that-
years,
Right.
and then
Well, now they're maintaining ownership for 5 years on the new owner, and they can, they were gonna like totally, like almost as a GC would, you know, be able to determine what he did and didn't do, you know, but like to an abusive extent, not just, hey, what's your plan? Are you gonna do something good with it? Then yeah, go ahead, let's move forward. It was like mandating everything that he was gonna do with the building and how he was gonna fix it and restore it and so on and so
Who they
forth.
working for, Putin?
But I mean, I'll send all that out and you guys can read it and look
Yeah, send
at
it this week, but also time I can,
it. Okay,
talk to people.
I forgot.
That's,
Rotary, let me see my text. It says, do you think the village would entertain the thought of Rotary getting a grant to replace some of the trees in the park? Says we can try for a grant with the foundation. I said, okay, I'll bring it up at tonight's meeting.
We are interested in replacing the green canopy in the village.
Yeah.
We already have one offer from Jim Jordan, and we already have, we already accepted another offer from the garden club. What other ones did they have in mind in the park? The garden club was gonna take care of the park. They had 2 trees, I think. Find out, and if it's limited to just the park, yes, I think we would like
I
to
would-
see
yeah,
the canopy restored.
more assistance, the better, and less money we guys spend.
We were taking them down and the intention was always to replace what we took down,
Uh-huh.
but they just came down slower than we might be able to get a few more trees out then if we're gonna replace them sooner.
Did you ever have any discussion about the playset over there being replaced right now?
that got put on hold.
Actually, I just had an email last week with Dan, and they're getting ramped up again, so
Okay.
we'll hear more from them in the next probably few weeks or
That
so.
was a big grant, I think, to do a lot of that work.
What'd you say?
That was a big grant to get a lot of that work done on that playground that
What
they
they were
applying
looking
for.
at.
Right.
Yeah, I don't even know if that, whatever happened with that.
I forget the name of it though. It
It
was a pretty large,
pretty well known, yeah.
yeah, it seemed promising, but
I'd have to go back and look.
I
Yeah.
probably have all the paperwork on it, so.
We still do, yeah. But that was largely put on hold by the pandemic, because they were going full steam until Christmas time that year, and then
And
didn't pick it up again in the fall and spring.
now we're a year and a half later.
One thing, I don't know what you're paying attention to in the news, but we're gonna have to likely deal with, adult use cannabis.
Mhm.
It's gonna be local, I think.
Yeah.
Sounds like it's gonna be a local decision, so
Yeah.
be thinking about it.
Local decision.
Profitable.
Whether or not you allow
If
it
it's
within the
okay
borders of
in
your
town.
municipality.
Oh,
It's gonna be so local, villages will have a say, not just the town incorporating it.
I don't know what politician was on, but it was, I'm all for it. But you will keep the teenagers from drinking and smoking before outside this, because you haven't done it in 50 years,
Right.
you know? And it's true, it's right. I mean, alcohol's all over the place. You can't control that. I mean, they're never gonna control this, never.
But you get taxes from it,
Well,
Yes.
true,
Right.
but, you know.
It's very profitable.
yeah. So did you find that, Barb? Were you looking for something else?
No, I was just texting Marie, telling me that, yes. we
Is
would
there
be
anything else from anybody? Dale, you're all set there?
interested.
All right, there's no further,
Oh, I forgot.
yeah. April Fool's to you
Throw
too.
something in there.
If there's no further discussion, I'll
Make a
look for a motion and a second.
You saying the
Yes.
third and the fifth?
And I'll see you back here next week at 5:05. It'll take me 2 minutes to walk down.
That's nice.
Yeah, next Monday. Congratulations to
Her mailbox.
our new elected officials.
The outside mailbox. I
Welcome
don't know
back.
what it's
I'm gonna wait here for my pen this time. Oh, bummer.
I dropped
Yeah,
off
nice
the
one.
18th.
What's that? You say something, Mike?
No, it's
Oh.
just